Beer to Whiskey crew. Welcome to this segment of Beer to Whiskey, and we're coming to you from the Beer to Whiskey studios high atop Barley's tap room in downtown Greenville, South Carolina. It is beer headquarters in upstate South Carolina. I'm your host, Russ Heaps, and this is one of our Big Jon in 5 episodes where I get my good buddy Big Jon Richards to pick a beer. We actually picked this beer a little while ago, so we've had a couple of sips of it. But he picks a beer, we sip it, we talk about it. He gives us some background on it and the brewery. But before we get into all that good stuff, a little gratuitous self-promotion here. John, what do we want them to do?
We want them to like us, Russ. Specifically, we want you to click on the like us.
Yes, yeah.
Right. And then subscribe. And so 2 things. We want 2 things.
Those 2 things. And you see the thumbs up down under the screen. Click on that to like. That's really important. And at the end of the video, there is an opportunity to see some other videos. And there's also a round Beer to Whiskey icon that you may click on. You'll be fully subscribed at that point. A new video comes out every Thursday at noon East Coast time. With that out of the way, John, what are we drinking?
Well, we're actually drinking a vintage beer today, Russ. We have, for those of you who might not be watching in the immediate vicinity, vintage is just what it sounds like. We're drinking a 8-year-old beer today. We're drinking a beer that was brewed in 2010.
Wow.
For the anniversary of our popping the cap in South Carolina, getting reasonable alcohol strengths. And as it happens...
See, if there was a like button right here, I'd click on that.
Yeah, that's a like. Here's a second like. Our beer headquarters here was nice enough to hold on to this beer for us for the better part of the last decade, bring it out as a special occasion. And it's wonderful when you can find good beer that ages well.
Sure.
This one's a Baltic Porter, which actually is a lager. You might be surprised to find out just looking at it. But big 9%, somewhat akin to an Imperial Stout or an Imperial Porter. A lot of them are called Imperial Porters, but typically brewed with lager yeast or with ale yeast that's cold fermented. So slightly different process, and just gives you a little bit more deliberate of a beer.
Sure.
And if you watched our Beer 101 segment, shameless plug.
There is a Beer 101 on ales versus lagers.
Right. We were talking about that being the word for it. But you're talking about a big beer, lots of rich chocolate, and especially in Baltic Porters, they tend to be milk chocolate flavors, rich and smooth and distinct. Whereas if you had a big Imperial Stout, you'd be carrying fruit, and you'd be carrying, like yeast flavors like fruit. You'd be carrying big black patent malt flavors of dark chocolate and roasted coffee. Whereas this one sits heavy in chocolate, vanilla, and the smooth kind of rich oatmeal side of things. Even though there's no oatmeal in this, it carries some of that. Now when we age it, it knocks the big edge off of the whole thing. It's still obviously got a high alcohol content, but the most of the flavors mellow down. Yeah, there you go. And it lets some of the subtle stuff come up. So you create a much more relaxed drinking experience when you start to age these beers and let them mellow down. Take the edge off the alcohol bite, you take the edge off the roast and the sweetness even, and create this big full flavored
I was going to say
cognac kind of a beer.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not getting a big toasty thing that you get from a lot of porters.
Yeah.
It's really smooth.
Right.
And
yeah, when you age these things, I mean, most of these big, take something that's 9, this is 9, take something that's 9, 10, 11% alcohol, you can put 10 years on it.
Yeah.
And take care of it, keep it in, keep it conditioned, but and it's still just getting better and better with age. So we're probably drinking right at the peak of this one. Barley's is pretty vigilant about
Yeah.
finding when that is and getting it out there for us. So
Yep.
this is a treat for us. Foothills is this pretty local brewery. They have a footprint in the southeast, but not all around the country. If you happen to find your way into Foothills Baltic Porter, it is, as far as I know, still only been brewed twice.
You know where?
Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
okay.
So out towards the coast, but not far from here.
And believe me, we don't really have to talk about Barley's much. Simply because
they don't require us to.
Yeah, simply because we shoot these segments here, but they have a fairly good-sized room that's just stacked to the rafters with kegs and bottles of stuff that they are aging, and thank goodness for that, because this is
It's pretty phenomenal stuff.
outrageous.
To finish the night off like this, put you got to have some kind of like bourbon pecan ice cream or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Sit it next to this, and then you make I'd almost say you'd ruin it by dropping a scoop of ice cream in it, but I know you wouldn't.
If a great date night, I would think,
Yeah.
would be this. And-
Fireside.
Yep, and some chocolate-covered cherries
Yeah.
or anything with chocolate in it would be outrageous, just outrageous. This is some wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else we should know?
I think keeping it to 5 is probably where we should stop today.
Well, I
Russ.
think we're over that, but it doesn't matter. Text Miss Lily.
Here's to you.
See you next time.